Hi, I'm Banks Chamberlain. This little video has been produced in order to work with the About Me portion of my website. And what I'm really more interested in doing than just writing a little About Me thing is to give you this little video to get a better sense of my history in retail solutions and my approach and philosophy to supporting my present and future client base. So the way I'd like to handle this is first to address a dozen or so tweets that appeared in my Twitter account recently. And I've selected them as ones tweets that really cover the subjects I want to cover. So I thought that would be a good way of answering the tweets. So now let me go to them and I'll go through them one by one. All right? The first one is it's from Mary. Mary's asked where did the name Banks come from. I've had that question often. The whole moniker is Banks Ronald Chamberlain. My dad's Banks Nevin. I'm Banks Ronald. My son's Banks Randall, and my grandson's Banks Yuki. So we avoid that 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff. I asked my father where Banks came from. My great aunt Lou gave him the name in return for his first suit. Beyond that, we don't know anything because Aunt Lou died before anybody thought to ask her why she had that name. So, mystery is not solved. I have no idea where Banks came from. So I'll go to the next tweet. Let's see here. Yes. Joan asked how I got into this point of sale business in the first place. After 9/11, a little glass foundry that I had operating in Vermont just crashed because nobody was buying anything. I called a friend of mine who had been a customer of mine when he worked for Hughes Aircraft, and he had some software I had developed for that industry. So I called him to see if there was anything out in Colorado. His wife said, well, there's a small ranch supply down the road that's having a terrible time with their point of sale. Long story short, I worked with them. One day, someone from Intuit called me and asked me just exactly who the hell I was. And I said, well, I'm just here trying to get this little ranch supply house's QuickBooks point of sale and financial system operating properly. Well, he said, you know, we're starting a solutions provider program of 100 or so people across the country who are retail experts using our products that we can use to help develop our product base. So that's how it started, about 2003. So that's how I got into it. No pun intended. Next question was, let's see. Well, John asked why QuickBooks instead of other software. Well, one part of it's obvious. That's the first system I worked with that little ranch supply house. But across time, I began to realize that most retailers use their point of sale software as an expensive cash register, electronic cash register, and not using any of the features. And I began to realize that the point of sale system was not just software, it was enabling technology. It allowed my clients to really get into measures of performance for their businesses and focus on what was working with respect to growing their business. So in years, I guess, after that, I began to work with and become acquainted with other offerings, similar offerings from other vendors, software developers. And the Intuit products have the best price performance of anything out there. And with respect to those other systems that are at the same acquisition price point, the cost of ownership of the QuickBooks product line is far lower than that offered or required by other companies. Purchase price is one thing, cost of ownership is another. Let's see, next question. Who was it? Let's see, it's Dave asks a question about discrimination. Like, what discriminates me from everybody else out there who's selling and supporting the software? A discriminator is that which differentiates you from all other sources of the software. My discriminator is in 3 parts. When you purchase software from me, it comes with a very nice support package for planning, installation, setup, and training. Of course, you can buy it from anywhere, any website. You can buy it directly from Intuit. But the problem there is when you get your boxes from those sources is you get boxes from those sources. Now what do? What I do is, along with your purchase of my package, get you set up and operating within the purchase price of the product. The other aspect that I think I should address at this point, now that I think of it, is cost per sale. That's another discriminator. I only work with one driving parameter, and that is, how much does it cost you to get that product, any product, into the customer's hands? That's purchasing, receiving, stocking, displaying, marketing, advertising, all those things that go into getting that customer in your shop to buy the product. Those are cost add-ons to what just the purchase price was. The more efficient you are in all those aspects, the better your profit. So what I'm focused on in your behalf is profitability and achieving the best profitability you can by keeping your cost per sale to an absolute minimum. Let's see, the next question I think was, next tweet was, Patty said, when I came to your website, I noticed the title was High Touch Retailing, and I noticed that you went on a bit about high touch retailing. What is it really? A couple of years ago, I was in Starbucks in Colorado Springs, and as I have all my Intuit stuff all over my SUV, one of the baristas said, "What is high touch retailing?" And that caught me flat-footed because it didn't occur to me that it would be so hard to understand. And I said, that's never been asked of me before, but now that you ask it, Starbucks is a high touch retailer. Amazon is a high-touch retailer. They come to learn what you like, what you want, what you buy, and offer you specials, offer you products that are similar to what you bought in order to get you back in. I mean, it's a national statistic that when someone spends $1 in your store, or buys a product worth $1, if you can bring them back, when you bring them back, the national average is $1.46 on the second sale. That's one of those intuitively obvious things. more sales to existing clients generates more return for you. And that's high-touch retailing. Let's see what's next. Fran asks, how do you find your clients? Or better yet, how do they find you? It's an interesting phenomena. I'm very active in the QuickBooks POS community. I try to handle and answer any and all questions, no matter how basic or how complex. I invest a lot of time in there. The payback has been, I will get a call out of the blue from somebody or an email that starts with something like, you don't know me, but I see the way you handle the questions and answers in the community, and I like the way you do it, and I'd like to see if you can help me with my problem. That's where most of my clients come from, or word of mouth. Let's see what's the next one. Oh, yes. Fran asks, well, what's your client base? Who are your clients? Well, jewelry stores, pet stores, boutiques, gift shops, retail operations for the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad and Uzbekistan and Belgrade. The most interesting one I had was a guy that was in body metal. Now, when I got a call from him and he told me the business he was in, I was a bit floored, not thinking about how I could handle it. But as it turns out, handling the whole body metal business is selling a product that is subject to a lot of state controls, record keeping, and it turns out the QuickBooks point of sale, with a little thought, handles that quite nicely. Same thing's true for gun shops. Okay, let's look at the next one. John says, I asked, well, how do you work with your clients? And what role do you play? Some people talk about consultancy, and some people talk about coaching, and I'd rather use a little story which is about when settlers were moving west. They'd go to St. Louis, they'd hire a trail master whose job it was to get them to the West Coast safely. That's the role I play with my clients. I guide them from start to finish in order to help them achieve the objective of getting from the beginning to the end as efficiently and as safely as possible. So you can think of me as being a trail master in that sense. The next tweet is from Peter. He says, well, how do you handle calls from people who obviously have kind of done it themselves, DIY? I get those calls occasionally, and they are from people who've gotten themselves all tangled up in implementing their system, and it's not performing the way they want, and they can't quite figure out what's wrong. And in general, what's wrong is there was a lack of pre-implementation planning that's resulted in a right great mess so far as their point-of-sale database is concerned. So a significant part of my work for my clients is untangling that and getting the system operating efficiently. That is, detangling that DIY mess that they have. Well, I guess there's about three more having to do with where I'm located, and that's John. And Doris says, how many clients? And Peggy says, what do you like best about working with retailers? So I'll start with John. John says, where am I located? Well, I'm located in Florida. However, where I'm located is unimportant because absolutely all of my work is done by remote access. I found it to be very efficient over the years to be able to work side by side with my clients remotely. That way I see their screen, they see their screen, and we're able to work together well. That's what's allowed me to have my practice extend all the way from East Timor to Uzbekistan and all over the United States. So my location is unimportant with respect to providing the kind of high quality service I do for my clients. The next question was by Doris. It said, how many clients do you serve? Well, currently my little community is probably 55 or 60 active clients, and over the years it's been a couple of hundred. I have clients that I have had and I support for about 10 years now. And every few years or so they are interested in upgrading, and they become, friends to me over the years, and I really enjoy them. That's the kind of relationship I prefer, by the way, with my clients. I prefer a good, comfortable working relationship where we work together to solve their needs and problems. Finally, Peggy asks, what do I like best about working with retailers? One of my God-given strengths is problem solving and decision making. And almost all of my work with my clients involves problem solving and decision making. And I like working hand in hand with a retailer to help him or her get the most out of their business operation as they can with respect to profitability or workflow smoothness, or to eliminate inefficiencies or problems. So it's a person-to-person, a people-centered process, and I like people and I like solving problems, so it's fun for me, not work. Well, that's the last tweet, so I suppose it's time to kind of wrap this up. If you do want to ask more questions, you can go to my website. My Twitter address is right there, or you can go directly to the Twitter address, which is Banks19 at Banks1942. So with that, thank you for having the patience to watch this entire thing, and I'll leave you to think of more questions if you want to ask them. Good day.